Hello everyone, and I have great news. I'm now officially a community contributor in World of Warships. Now, to celebrate that, I decided to make a video today, because I usually don't upload on Tuesdays, but, you know, have a bonus week. Now, this won't change an awful lot for my channel, I will continue as usual, but I might be able to give you some previews of some new ships and stuff, so hooray! Now, the video I have for today is, well, it's me in the Bismarck, but there is also my division mate, Dr. Torbauer, over here in the Amagi. And since I have his replay as well, I will show a little bit from his perspective and from my perspective. So there is that. Now, I'm in the Bismarck, Tier 8 German battleship. We are on the map Trap, and it's technically a Tier 9 battle, but there are only 2 Tier 9s. So not too problematic. Now, there was a little bit discussion here in the chat. We decided to take Bravo and Charlie, although we have 2 ships down here at Alpha. The destroyer is not so much a problem. He probably has chances to get away if there are too many ships. The cruiser here might be a little bit trapped. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get the destroyer here to go towards the center. I asked in the chat, and yeah, well, not happening. So I'm just pushing straight into the center. A questionable idea, you could say, but there are very few destroyers around. We already see here one up in the north. Actually, we see both enemy destroyers here up in the north, so it's unlikely that the enemies have a strong force here in the center. There is an island here that I can find some cover in, worst case. And we really want to have 2 capture points, so we will drive straight through the center to support here the north. And I've already spotted a bit. It looks like the enemy committed a large force down here. And unfortunately for this Atago, he is on the wrong side of this island. Now, he probably didn't expect us to be here. I mean, nobody would expect battleships to just sail straight into the center. And being in here also means that I will have trouble angling against ships from down there, but the enemies are pushing so hard into Point Alpha that they are now all behind an island, and we are pretty safe here. Now we hopefully can take the center and then support the north where most of our fleet is. And this Atago is almost in a position where he can turn away from us, but I'm not sure if he made it in time. Nope, he didn't. So, yep, it's a great start. Meanwhile, we are a good angled towards those guys down there. We are capturing the center. I'm not even detected anymore currently, so I can capture here in peace. And then I'll start just pushing towards Charlie with my division mate right behind me. And there's a Fiji who is showing broadside, and see how that works out. Well, pretty good it seems, because my gun is missed. Now both enemy destroyers are doing a great job in delaying our team. We have a massive force here in the north, but we can't flush out those destroyers. So now I'm using my hydro and I'm just charging in. With the hydro I should be able to dodge incoming torpedoes without too much trouble. And I'm doing a very bad job at hitting this Fiji. But I'm not really afraid of those destroyers. As said, with powerful hydro of the Bismarck, I should spot the torpedoes early, and I might even be able to flush out the destroyers. And we really want to take this point before the enemy forces from A arrive. If the enemy is dealt with this point, they will just come straight towards the center, and if we are still engaged here in the north, it will probably not be so great. Now getting some hits on that cruiser, but somebody else managed to take him out. So nicely done. Now is where their destroyers are getting spotted. Yugumu is, I think, currently getting taken out by my team members, so I'll focus on the Sims. And getting some hits here. So keep in mind that because of the hydro, I should be able to spot torpedoes if torpedoes were coming. And here they are. So no trouble dodging those. And hopefully we can get the Sims. Yep, my secondaries got her. So meanwhile, my division mate is keeping an eye a little bit at the rear. And look at that, there is a sailing broadside, so you can see the Sims here is still alive. My division mate doesn't have any shots at him, but he's getting some great hits at these shores, and while he is prepared to help me if needed, the Sims, he has to clear that island first, because he doesn't have shots right now. And as we all know, this Sims will go down shortly. Now Sims is down. I have no trouble avoiding those torpedoes. And my division mate is currently focusing on the ships up there, but we know we have to turn around now and defend the center. The enemies are already starting to move in. His Nagato is reversing behind an island, but we really don't care too much about those ships. Now we have all our forces scattered around here, so what we need is move them towards the center. Well, we need at least one ship in the center to contest the cap, and the other ships can stick a little bit behind to provide fire support. Unfortunately, this North Carolina is somewhat angled against us and not simply showing broadside. We have to be mindful of those two ships because he might show the Nagato broadside, and obviously the Russian cruiser will just keep burning us. But our plan is to just move into the center and use this nice little island here as cover. We don't have the time to chase down those ships, and as long as they stay away, they are not that effective. So I'd consider them somewhat safe to ignore right now. And there is a nice citadel there. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of enemies capping, and there is one who's sitting behind an island that we can't really reset. So they are probably getting this point unless a ship from us can enter the cap circle fast enough. Now the Gneisenau is fearlessly pushing in. He's a little bit too late and maybe a little bit too aggressive. Our ships aren't fast enough to catch up with that Gneisenau. But it's looking pretty good overall. This New Orleans is stopping at the wrong location. I mean, there seems to be a slight collision there, which is the reason why he's stopping probably. Nice hit there. So, the enemy cruisers are almost taken out there. North Carolina as well. Our Gneisenau is not in a particularly good spot, but he bravely charged in there. And the enemies are losing more ships than we do, so it's looking great. Now here I'm holding my fire, I'm expecting my... So I'm communicating with my division mate and he said shots are in the air, so there was no reason for me to pull the trigger as well. And our next focus will be this tier pits. So the good news is 2 other enemy tier pits are currently behind an island. And I mean, will take them some time to clear this island. Until then, we are safe from their fire, more or less. Although we have to be concerned about their torpedoes. If we get too close towards this part of the island, they might just torpedo us. This tier pit here, I think, is trying to reverse out of there, but there isn't really much he can do. They probably should just try to get closer to us in order to get his torpedoes firing. We are still ignoring those ships here on the right side. They are currently not really much of our concern. We also have a nice island here to the left protecting us. So the tier pits has 6 km torpedo range. We are currently quite safe. And this tier pit should soon get taken out. Now, meanwhile, the tier pits here are coming towards us. I'm using Hydro once more in order to spot those torpedoes. What I'm currently not paying any attention to are that there are torpedoes right of me. I really should have seen those coming, but I'm going to take a torpedo hit because I didn't pay attention. And here we can see my division mate took torpedo hit as well. And there are even more torpedoes incoming. He won't be able to dodge all of them, but he shouldn't take more than 1 hit here. And then the tier pits should be out of torpedoes. Now, Dr. Torbraun is still floating. The Amagi is now, the tier pits is now showing broadside. And I don't think he has his turrets fully turned yet, so no return fire. Tier pits take some severe hits and should go down any moment now. So, the tier pits is dealt with. My division mode is unfortunately on fire, and I think he is also getting shot at by the enemy tier 9 cruiser. There aren't many enemies left floating, and the tier pits is currently retreating. So only 2 enemies left, and we can in peace capture this point now and then hunt down the remaining enemies. So they pretty soon managed to sink my division mate. I don't think he can do much against the fire currently. And we shall speed up the rest of this replay. So the enemies are resetting us a little bit here, but we have more than enough people capturing. It's not that we need to take the center point, but it's some additional experience, so why not? And I think the enemy cruiser is charging in for a torpedo strike against our tier pits. I mean, the Russians do have some very short-range torpedoes, but it seems like he made it work. Not that it changed anything, but he got himself some additional experience there. Well, I did not manage to get another kill here, so only the tier pits remaining. I don't think I'm going to get a Kraken here, but tier pits is showing broadside. I also have Hydro active because I'm driving towards the tier pits and there might be torpedoes to worry about. Now let's take a look at the results. Dr. Torbraun managed to get 2465 base experience, certainly very well played by him. And I got myself 1993. So while I was securing kills, he was doing the majority of the damage. but it was very successful. We basically charged into the center, found not really much opposition, then helped secure Charlie Cap and returned to the center. Oh, Torbraun got himself Confederate and High Caliber, dealing 174,000 points of damage, while I myself got First Blood and Close Quarters Expert. I only dealt 97,000 points of damage, got quite a few secondary hits in, as is usual in the Bismarck. And I hope you enjoyed 2 battleships basically sailing forward the whole match, and a nice little brawl in the center. So thank you all guys for watching. Thanks to all of you, it was possible that I'm now a community contributor, and I'll see you guys next time.